Welcome to week 3 and workout 5 and 6 of the 2023 Protest Throwdown. My name is Ed Haynes and joining me in the studio today is Annette. We're going to take you straight away through what we have for you for this final week. Ant, over to you.
Workout 5 and 6 will be done on a running clock which will last for 16 minutes. Part A has an 8-minute time cap and part B also has an 8-minute time cap. So workout 5 and workout 6 both an 8-minute time cap. It'll be done on a running clock and workout 6 will start at the 8-minute mark. Workout 5 is for time. You will start with 50 box jump overs at 24 and 20 inches. You'll then move to 40 toes to bar. You'll then finish off with 30 deadlifts. That has an 8-minute time cap. If you finish under the 8-minute time cap, you will then rest until the 8-minute mark. At the 8-minute mark, workout 6 will then start. Workout 6 has an 8-minute time cap, 30 deadlifts, 40 chest to bar pull-ups, followed by 50 box jump overs at 24 and 20 inches. Again, with an 8-minute time cap.
Some notable changes for the live crew. You guys will be doing box jumps, but you will have the option to do a box step over, and you'll be performing a hanging leg raise. Now, Ant, you've done this workout. In fact, we're about to go through and watch the video of yourself and Adele doing a head-to-head.
Yeah.
Before we start, what were you thinking before going into this one?
Well, I'd actually just got back from the CrossFit Games. I just landed, I think 24 hours, maybe just a bit more than that. I certainly was not ready to hit a workout like this, but kind of got thrust into it because I think the person originally was supposed to do it did not want to do it. So I just thought, whatever, I'll give it a good crack. And when I was in that mindset, I didn't really think about any sort of strategy. I just thought, I'll just try going broken and see what happens. So I tried going broken and we can see what happens. But yeah, there wasn't much strategy around it. If I was to do it for a actual qualifier rather than a demo, so I did it with the purpose of like showing what might happen I didn't know what was gonna happen if I did try going broken in the second part. I knew I would be able to go unbroken, but what happened in the second part was kind of what we found out later on. But if I was to do this as an actual qualifier, I think I would try and be somewhat reserved on the first piece, but you have to go hard. Because you cannot take a last place in the first place, or similarly, you don't want to be going to middle of the field positions. Like you either got to send it and then just hold on for dear life, or you just got to accept that you're not going to be very good at these types of faster workouts, and you just kind of cruise and then you accept a middle of the road finish. But we know middle of the road finishes never push you up the leaderboard. So you have to take a chance, I think.
Okay, without further ado, we're about to watch Adele and Ant. Adele, who is currently leading our Compete and Elite female division, go head-to-head in this workout. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I think one thing to think about on this workout is having a rough estimate as to where you might be finishing on the clock in that first workout. Because we know that the way that this workout has been created means that if you have not finished the work by the 8-minute mark, you will essentially move straight into the next piece.
Which would be like a 16-minute AMRAP.
Which would essentially be a 16-minute AMRAP of the same movements, just going down the ladder and going back up the ladder. So if you are someone, like I imagine yourself and Adele are gonna be, I haven't seen this video yet, who's going to be finishing workout 5, the first part of the workout, under that 8-minute mark, then you need to also factor in that you're gonna have some rest. Then you need to think about, well, how long is that rest? Is that going to allow really for any substantial recharge time? And then you're gonna go again. So what were you thinking? I mean, I know you said that you didn't really think about a strategy here, but did you have a rough estimate? Is that something you do when you come to a workout as to how long it might take you?
Well, I knew I was going to go unbroken on the first piece for the 50 and then 40 toes to bar and 30 deadlifts. I thought I might have to break the 30 deadlifts, it's just real quick. But then, yeah, once I got through the 50 box jump overs, I knew 40 toes to bar would not be a problem for me. So yeah, just going through that first part, and you would just be fast. So 50 box jump overs, realistically it's going to take about a minute, maybe just over a minute, because you're looking at probably just over 1 second per rep if you're rebounding every single one. Toes to bar is, again, it's about probably 1.5 seconds per rep, maybe a little bit longer as well. So that's going to add up time for 40 reps, which is probably around a minute as well. And then 30 deadlifts is roughly about, again, 1.5 seconds per rep. So I knew it would be around like the 250 to 315 sort of mark. So that would give me what I thought and hoped to be plenty of time to rest. but we'll find out.
We'll find out. So both you and Adele went unbroken with box jumps. Now I would just say the 50 box jumps rebounded is not that easy. I mean, these guys made that look very, very easy. But remember, a stepping down technique might actually be a smart strategy for a lot of people, just to keep your heart rate down. If you know that toes to bar are a tough movement for you, or you know that deadlifts are going to be a tough movement for you, we're going to keep that heart rate down as much as we can. So when we get to our bottleneck movement, or the toughest movement in the workout, we can actually express it.
Yeah.
Right? If we just go too hard at the start, you're not going to be able to hit that hardest movement. And in this case, for most people, I think it's going to probably be the toes to bar.
Yeah.
So Anne went unbroken in the toes to bar. I know toes to bar are a very strong movement for you. You're very competitive, even at the highest level. It looks like Adele opened up with a pretty big set. She's now taken 2 breaks, and I think she must be pretty close to finishing that set now.
Yeah.
Again, I think if you're like Adele and Ant, where you're going to be finishing workout 5 in a pretty fast time, knowing that you're going to have a lot more recovery, you can afford to do probably more aggressive sets with everything, knowing that you're going to get that rest period in between. If you know you're not going to be getting that rest, especially thinking about the way that this workout is formatted, down the ladder, then the movement you finish with in workout 5 is a movement you got to start with. Essentially that's going to be 60 deadlifts potentially in a row. So you want to think about potentially just breaking it up so that you can just continue and flow into the second part of the workout 6.
I think if you have the ability to push this sort of thing unbroken, similar to what Adele and I are doing here, then grip management is one thing as well, because you go from 40 toes to bar into 30 deadlifts to 30 deadlifts to 40 chest to bars. So even with a break in between, your grip's going to be fired up anyway. For me, I know box jump overs are actually not a very good movement for me. I don't like doing box jump overs. I don't like the constant rebound that and the toll it takes on my legs. And you're about to see that come up in a sec. But I also thought here, so obviously I'm resting now, there's plenty of rest all the way up to the 8-minute mark. I think I finished.
And I think, so Adele's just finished hers as well there. So what was your time taking to complete there?
I think it was like 3:01 or 3 minutes. So I knew I had 5 minutes of rest, but my heart rate was very, very high at this point. Just trying to bring it down just by sitting down on the blocks like I'm doing here. But then I knew already, just thinking about the next part, that I'm gonna try and do it unbroken, or just try and hold big sets and see what happens. But I didn't think I'd be able to do it unbroken. And I knew, having done similar style workouts in the past, that my box jump would definitely slow down. I wouldn't be able to go as fast to the box jump overs if I pushed the deadlift and chest to bar. If I went into the deadlift, no, chest to bar, we do chest to bar.
Oh, sorry, chest to bar, I was thinking about,
Yeah, if I was to break up deliberately and do like something like a 10-10-10 on the deadlift, and then maybe a 10-10-10-10 on the chest to bar, then maybe I could go unbroken on the box jump overs. But because I try and hold on and just see what happens, it blows me up a bit. Quite a lot actually, and I was very fatigued after this workout.
Yeah, and I think also it's worth remembering that because the order is changing, box jumps are already a tough movement for you. In workout 5, that's the first thing that you have to do. So you're gonna feel fresh and probably feel quite good in them. But remembering that you've still got another 50 to do right at the end of the workout. That's after 60 deadlifts, after 80 repetitions on the pull-up bar. And then you have to finish that at the end, where heart rate's already elevated and you built up a lot of fatigue, especially in the lower body. So that's something else to consider.
I think also chest to bars, if you're cycling the chest to bar fast and doing something like a butterfly variation, it's much more metabolically taxing than doing something like a toes to bar, which is much more methodical, much more rhythmic, and it's just, it's a bit more of a steady movement. Whereas a chest to bar is a lot more global movement happening, and you're using a lot more musculature to do it as well. So I tested out a box jump over just to make sure I'd be able to do it after the steady deadlifts, and it didn't feel very easy. So I knew it was about to happen here. But yeah, like I said, I was trying to have a bit of fun with it and just see what happens.
Yeah, so I think another thing to think about is, the movement and on the pull-up bar, moving from a toes to bar to a pull-up or a chest to bar. For a lot of people, the toes to bar is probably the more simple of the two. And knowing that comes first in a workout, there's going to be a lot of carryover, or what we call interference, from the toes to bar moving into the pull-ups and chest to bar. Now, if you're a high level or an elite athlete, maybe you don't notice that difference too much. But knowing that your grip is going to be a little bit shot when you come to workout 6, your pull, your lats and forearms are all gonna be a little bit shot as well. You've gotta factor that in. So if you know that, maybe pull-ups and chest to bars are gonna be the hardest movement in this workout for you, then you need to slow down workout 5 in order to be able to express yourself in workout 6. If you go too aggressive in workout 5, you're just not gonna recover. You're gonna end up losing a lot of time just waiting for your lats, your grip, your pull to recover to actually be able to hit reps of pull-ups and chest to bars.
Yeah, so I think you'll see when we get into this, when we both get to the chest to bars, it's quite a different strategy. Like I said, I wanted to just hold on and see how many reps I could do off the bat on the chest to bar, but my grip and my arms are toast, and also my heart rate was still super high at this point. I couldn't really bring it down because it's essentially an all-out sprint effort for me at the beginning for that 3 minutes of work. And yeah, we're about to find out what happens.
Okay, so about to see them both go.
Yeah, so we start with the 30 deadlifts now. My plan was to push it close to going unbroken, just kind of see what happens there.
Were you thinking about what was coming up after deadlifts while you were doing them?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was just, if you do break it, it's because you needed to break.
I know I'm half decent at chest to bars and I can hold on for big-ish sets. I didn't really warm up my chest to bars before, so like I said, I was kind of just thrust into this workout, so I just kind of went for it.
Let's talk about the deadlift in terms of like the movement standards and what people need to think about here.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of repetitions, both yourself and Adele, I know you are someone who's probably a little bit more built for deadlifts than Adele. Adele's a great squatter, and often great squatters will struggle a little bit more with the deadlift. You're probably someone who's built a little bit more for deadlifts over squatting. When we're looking at your technique here, probably keeping a slightly straighter leg, knowing that this is quite a lightweight for you, it's going to be well under 50%. So what are you thinking about when you're doing touch and go deadlifts?
Well, I knew I'd need my knee flexion for the box jump overs, so I basically used a bit more hip flexion to try and move the bar. And like you said, Adele's box jump overs are very efficient, where she can basically bounce out the bottom of each of her. I guess on every time she hits the top of the box, she's in a full squat, whereas you can see my box jump overs are much taller in my box jump overs as I receive it.
So you took 1 break, I think Adele took 2 breaks. The time taken to finish the deadlifts was not too different, but the rest period before starting a set of chest to bars was quite a bit longer.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking here on the chest to bars? You got 40 reps to go through.
Yeah, so I opened with a set of 20, and I think I was already thinking like, okay, I'm pretty blown up here.
And when you say blown up, was that aerobic? Is it your breathing?
Breathing, my forearms are toast as well. And I'm pretty sure I go 10-10 after this. But in terms of like the actual movement itself, that wasn't getting fatigued. You can get really sloppy sometimes when you do chest to bars. They still felt okay. But you can see like even the way I'm just landing, like my body is fatigued now.
Yeah.
There's like the first time I bent over.
So it looks like Adele might be doing, I think she opened with a set of 10. I think she might be doing anywhere between kind of like 8 to 10 reps, maybe a little bit less, maybe more like a 7 to 8 there.
Yeah.
So breaking up a little bit more. So you're probably coming into your final 10 reps here, and then what we have left is the box jump. So you can definitely see a little breakdown technique. The heels are having to pull back a little bit more, and you can see just by your body language. So let's have a look here. So I think a couple of things we're probably seeing is just, this is very typical when you're trying to do something like a rebounded box jump at a very high heart rate. The accuracy is just kind of not there. Now you're kind of finding your groove and now kind of getting into it. What are you feeling right now?
I was holding on for dear life here. I did not feel very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do a couple of sets of singles and twos as well in these box jump overs.
Okay.
But I also looked over and I saw Adele was still on her pull-ups, and I think I'm already like, 15 to 20 reps in, so I was pretty sure I was going to win this workout. But yeah, I'm pretty screwed at this point.
I actually haven't really seen you this fatigued in a very long time.
I also, after this workout, I was on the floor for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of traveling will do that too as well.
I also think, it's just the having the ability to push at this sort of pace is very, very different, right? So if you look at Adele, so Adele just finished, but she also took 4 to 5 breaks. So it's metabolically taxing is very, very different.
Yeah.
For my scenario right now versus hers. As soon as I saw her going fast there, I think I
gotta step up.
I think I do 20 unbroken now.
So I think this is like, this is 2 very different strategies here. You know, especially in the second part. Not too dissimilar in the first. Well, actually, yes, Adele broke more in the toaster bar. I mean, you clearly take the victory in a workout anyway, but you know, what Adele is showing is that, you know, with more breaks, and I think, you know, perhaps Adele probably had to break her chest to bar just because the capacity is not where yours is at. But, you know, keeping the heart rate down and breaking things more is allowing her to then, you know, execute those last box jumps at a much, much faster pace. So
she's also very good at box
she's
jumps.
also, but it's about knowing where your strengths are, right?
Yeah.
So knowing that she's good at box jumps, and probably compared to a lot of her competitors, she can make up a lot of time here.
Yeah.
You know, deliberately breaking up the other movements, knowing that she might be able to claw her way back a little bit. Almost a little trip in the box there from Adele. You know, is a smart way to go about this workout.
Yeah. Yeah, she was very fast through her box jump purpose.
She's not very fast boxing. And I think, you know, just looking at, you know, the state of...
I think she actually finished there and just did an extra one.
Did an extra one.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, looking at the state of the two of you, you know, you are a great example of someone who's really, you know, put their foot down and pushed the throttle. You know, Adele probably felt more like an aerobic workout because of more breaks.
Yeah.
You know, feeling a lot better than you are.
Yeah, I was feeling dreadful at this point. I was not doing very well at all. And I think I felt like this for maybe 30 minutes afterwards.
Yes.
I'm actually getting hot just thinking about how I felt in that workout.
Well, there you have it, folks. A final workout of the 2023 Process Summer Throwdown. As a reminder, make sure you go to the movement standards, make sure you read things like the workout flow, clue yourself up on everything before you get after this one, because if you go as hard as Ant did, you definitely do not want to be doing this one again. Good luck to everyone filming your workouts, uploading the leaderboard, and we will see you here next week for the update show.